channel. In today's video, I wanted to go over things that are actually helping me to experience growth. So in my previous video, I was just talking about being stagnant and kind of how my process has been going when things haven't been going my way. So I wanted this video to be kind of a follow-up to be like, well, girl, what is working? And it's these things. Some of these things are newly incorporated or they've been fine-tuned, and then other things I've actually been doing for years. So as you can see in the B-roll, one of the things is just getting out of the house a little bit more. So with me, like being out in the nature or like going out to coffee shops and things like that, that really helps me when it comes to like thinking and generating new ideas, because it's just like an open space or kind of like a blank canvas for me. Going on to another thing, which is reading and listening to Audible. So currently, I'm listening to the Ultimate Brian Tracy collection, and then I just finished The Compound Effect. And originally, I don't know, when I was hearing about The Compound Effect, I was thinking like compound interest, and it kind of does play a little bit off of what compound interest is, but it just applies it to life and how things, you know, accumulate over time and taking small steps. And within The Compound Effect that I just finished, it just talked about like entertainment ratio versus education ratio and how that plays a huge role in you being able to accomplish things. So as far as hard books that have played a vital role this year, one I finished was Swim, which was great. It was just talking about leadership and like new perceptions and not being like fearful of other people that have great, amazing qualities too. Like there's enough room for everybody. So that was a nice perspective type of shift. And then off and on, I've been reading The Power of Now. So I got that book earlier in the year, and it's kind of one of those pickups for me. I know some people are just like, oh my gosh, like it was so amazing, it was so transformative. It's definitely one of those things where I want to read something and then let it soak in my brain for a little bit and then transition into the next thing. So another thing that I have on my list is writing. So whether that's writing from like taking notes, writing for doing a brain dump, or writing for a journaling, that has been very shocking to me. And I don't know why it was so shocking, because like growing up, I've always had like a notebook. I like to call it a documentary of my life. Some people like to call it journals and diaries and all that other stuff, documentary of my life. So I've always had something along those lines. Writing it's been very therapeutic for me. Like brain dumps definitely changed the game for me in regards to just getting my thoughts out and not worrying about like the perfection. And then I'll just go through and like brain dump like on a few pages, and then like throughout the week I'll go back and like if I've accomplished certain things, then I'll just X those out. But if it's something that's gonna be more of a long-term process, then I'll put those off to the side on things that I need to accomplish so that I can revisit those things. Yes, I have hundreds of thousands of thoughts running through my head on a weekly basis, but not everything deserves my attention. I need to focus and commit to just a few things and not spread myself thin by trying to multitask, which nobody really multitasks. They just shift their attention from one thing to the next thing. Things that I've talked about before that I'm gonna bring up again is the WHAM, so the weekly accountability meetings. Earlier this year, I had listened to the 12-week year, which I think is a phenomenal book, especially for people just trying to reach their goals and then just breaking those goals down into increments, but then also making sure that you continuously follow up. So one of the main premises of the book, it just talks about people not being able to complete the goals that they set for themselves, because some people create these goals at the beginning of the year and then they just never really check back in, or when they do check back in, so much time has passed and they haven't made enough progress on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis to where it now becomes pretty much impossible to complete the goal by the intended due date. So those weekly accountability meetings, I've really only been doing them for financial related things, but I do want to kind of transition into doing them to track my progress for like YouTube, and then track my progress from some personal stuff that I'm going to do here in the near future. And then lastly on my list is budgeting. It's budgeting. So I am a huge advocate of budgeting, like a huge advocate of budgeting. It's been very life-changing for me. And the more that I sit and I work with my budget and I figure out my spending habits and I figure out things that are triggering, and then I'm figuring out the psychological side that goes along with like spending money, investing money, making money, that whole side of things, it's just like, oh my gosh, like, yes, give me all the knowledge, give it, because I want it. Those of you that don't budget, what are you waiting on? For those of you that do budget, okay, I see you. Financial security, stability, independence, and freedom, all that wrapped into one. The reason why I constantly preach about budgeting is because it works. It works as long as you work to make sure that it works. So much to say on budgeting, and I'm actually going to be having my mid-month budget coming out here shortly, so you guys be sure to check that out when the video drops. But as usual, I want to thank you guys for taking time to watch my video. In the comments below, let me know what's been working for you when it comes to experiencing growth, because it might be something that might help the next person out. But as usual, take time to enjoy your own journey, and I'll catch you guys in the comments into the next video. Bye.